Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name's David. I'm on the ecosystem team. Really appreciate everyone being here today to join our panel. We're joined by a fantastic panel of guests that are all focused on changing the way that we interact and transact with each other. Each of our guests are focusing on this shift from very different perspectives, as you'll see. So we'll get a taste of the many different ways that blockchain is changing markets and why cryptographic truth is a key ingredient to making this all happen. So on our panel today, we have Amanda, who's a BD and marketing lead at Sushi. We have Christoph Lasviot, who's the co-founder of Request. We have Ran Yi, who is the chief operating officer at WooTrade. We have Yoon Kim, who's the co-founder at Elysia. And we have Jack Lipstone, co-founder of Rari Capital. So you can see we have a great panel joining us today. Thank you all for being here and making the time as well. If you have any questions for any of our panelists as you're listening, please drop them in the chat as we go, and we'll try to get to them at the end if we have time at the end of the session. So let's dive right in. Each of you is leading the shift from traditional markets to and applications into uncharted territories in unique ways. Can you talk about the bigger vision for what you're building, specifically the key advantages that your projects have over the legacy or the traditional systems that you're aiming to replace? And we can jump right in with Chris if you want to take this from the start.
Okay. Yes, with pleasure. Hi, everyone. Just to introduce Request first. Request is a suite of finance applications, starting with a convenient tool for issuing and paying invoices in crypto. And we're building all this on a decentralized network. And we can imagine having all the invoices in the world on a unique decentralized ledger rather than as PDF on emails. And the main advantage of what we're doing right now with invoices is that we bring compliance to crypto transactions. And basically, we've been live for less than 1 year and got 600 crypto businesses like AV, Bgraph, MakerDAO as users. With more than 100 million transacted as invoices, and all this mainly because of the compliance that we can bring to crypto transactions. We can see how it can have some advantages with the current trends in terms of regulations.
Great, thanks for that overview. Yoon or anyone else can jump in here as well.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for having me. My name is Yoon Kim, and I work at Elysia, which is a marketplace for real estate investing opportunities. So far, we have a mobile app where you can connect your Ethereum wallet to buy and trade fractions of real estate ownership using crypto. And more recently, we have launched a decentralized lending market called Elify. And here, real estate owners can take out crypto loans using their property as collateral, while participants are able to create pools to collect rewards for facilitating these loans. The idea is that we set rules for those willing to offer a fraction of their real estate benefits in the form of tokens. And we built a protocol that will allow investors to find these opportunities and invest based upon their own decisions. Digital finance, going back to your question, digital finance is changing how people discover and manage money. And it is an enormous opportunity for the greater financial inclusion. And yet the benefits of digital transformation remain relatively uncharted in the real investment sector. Apart from finding reliable market intelligence that is material to capital risk pricing, the financial aspect of investing in real estate assets make it very difficult for individual investors and to rely on digital instruments since they're physical properties. And our mission is to identify these problems for individuals and try to make on-chain transactions or opportunities for these real estate assets.
That's perfect. Thanks so much, Yoon. And maybe we'll jump to Amanda. I think a lot of people here are familiar with what your team is building. Do you want to jump into a bit about the vision behind it and also, what advantages you're bringing over more traditional systems?
Thank you so much, Dave, for the really great intro. So I think with Sushi, by the way, hi everyone, my name is Amanda. and I've been Osushi since March this year. And yeah, we've been just crazy. It's even been hard for me to keep up with everything that the team's been building, but we really want to be a comprehensive DeFi landing point for people. So we want people to not have to leave the platform. We have our, original DEX, which is the decentralized exchange. And then we have our Kashi, which is our lending margin trading platform. We recently launched our MISO IDO platform, so anyone can create a new token and fundraise for their project, or even fundraise for their individual social token, as we saw with the Sake case study. And they can do so on that IDO platform. And then we have our upcoming NFT platform called Show You. So we really want to have all the amazing opportunities that DeFi really brings in, crypto solutions in one spot. And I think if you guys have been keeping up with our latest announcement, which was on July 20th, kind of huge announcement, was our next generation AMM, which is called Trident. So Sushi is no longer a fork. We've upgraded to Trident. And that one is I guess the theme of this topic, it's a really uncharted AMM, which is another word for decentralized exchange, where we're actually going to be building our Sushi exchange on and putting that AMM on our super powerful token vault called Bento Box. And where this really challenges traditional finance is that, with the token vaults, I guess the average person could really be familiar with that because it is similar concept to a savings account at a bank. But, I'm sure everyone here in this chat has had the experience where you see this really amazing bank advertisement for a savings account that offers you really great benefits, but then you find out, oh no, you need a minimum of $5,000 to put in there. And if you're a student, you don't have that kind of money. So they really don't make it easy for you to access those benefits. And that's what Sushi is all about. It's just providing accessibility. Once this AMM is on Bento Box, you deposit your assets in there and you're going to be earning yields through the strategies on that without having to think about it. No gas costs, no extra approvals. So it's really providing that savings mechanism that everyone should have access to in a very simple way. So that's what we're excited about.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Amanda, for jumping in. And Ran, I see you have your exchange going behind you there. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you're building?
Yep. Hi, everyone. It's Ran from WooTrade. Great to be here. Thanks to Chainlink. WooTrade is a liquidity network, and it aims to solve the issue of scattered and expensive liquidity across CeFi and DeFi. So with the product that you see behind me, that's called WooX, which is our exchange, and is set to go live on August 20th. So the 20th of this month to everyone. And here you can stake some tokens to get 0 fees and even take a rebate on the exchange. And the ethos of WooTrade is to give as much value back to users as possible. That's why we enable 0 fee trading and the deepest liquidity. And this is a centralized product, but we also are coming out with decentralized products as we are creating a lot of liquidity on chain as well with some of our decentralized partners such as Chainlink and Sushi. There's about $200 million in volume going through trade currently, and we aim to make that much bigger and improve liquidity as a whole and make trading cheaper in the crypto space.
Perfect. Thanks, Ran. And thanks. Jack, you want to jump in here?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Dave, for having me. So I'm the co-founder of Rari Capital. And so our grand vision is to be the home of yield creation and yield delivery in DeFi. So when we initially launched back in July and then did our liquidity mining phase last October, we were strictly a yield aggregator, bouncing across different external strategies, looking at different lending protocols like Compound Finance, Aave, DYDX, and then utilizing Chainlink for all the pricing data that was needed for that. And then after a few months of running this product, we got a decent amount of TVL, but we realized that as this industry gets more sustainable, more capital enters the ecosystem, all these rates are going to start to dilute themselves. There's a lot of added smart contract risk with all these different integrations. So we went back to the drawing board and we said, how can we essentially create yield and then deliver that in the best way possible to are depositors in the yield aggregator. So in its current form, we have Fuse, which is this robust open interest rate protocol that basically allows anyone, whether they're a user, a protocol, a DAO, anyone in the world, they can go and create their own Fuse pool, which is essentially just a fork of compound finance, but suddenly they have all the flexibility and creativity that they can get while setting up their own lending and borrowing pool. And then this benefits the yield aggregator because suddenly all of the deposits in the yield aggregator are now seeding these different Fuse pools with liquidity, providing higher interest rates to the depositors, similar to a high yield savings account that we'll see in the traditional infrastructure. And then you also have liquidity for the borrowers in the Fuse pools. So as we release more products within the next few months, it'll be more so guided at this yield generation and yield delivery to both the DeFi natives, retail, and even institutional clients.
Great, thanks so much for sharing that. So as you heard, everyone on this panel is building very different and unique infrastructure. So I want to dive a little bit more into that infrastructure. It'd be great to hear from everyone, a bit more about what it's like to build something that's completely new, that's new technologies that are really helping people interact in different ways. So it would be great to hear if you could talk about your architecture a little bit and how Chainlink is incorporated into that architecture to make it possible as well. We can start with Chris here.
We start with Chris again. Okay. So the architecture of request invoicing, basically request invoicing is an app. You go on the app, you sign up, you send an invoice, and you get paid. As a payer, you sign up and you just pay the invoices. All this is actually just like a centralized app, but underlying there is the request network that is a protocol, and it's a decentralized technology of payment request. And basically, every time you send an invoice, your invoice is on the blockchain. Every time you accept an invoice, the acceptation is on the blockchain. Therefore, it's creating a history, it's creating your own reputation of creation, acceptation, rejection, and payments, and unlocking a few different use cases. But there are still challenges in terms of building our stack and onboarding new users. So we said we've got 600 businesses already. And the thing is, as André Cronje would say, building in DeFi sucks. It takes way more time than we can imagine. And especially because the ecosystem is in its infancy. So for example, every time we add a token, so every time we want, someone wants to pay an invoice in a new token, let's say the new token is Link. Oh, that's a bad example. Let's say the new token is the compound token. Then the thing is, do they have a Chainlink price feed? Because we need them. So that's a transition to how we are using a Chainlink. But if you've got an invoice of $5,000 in, so therefore you want to be paid an amount in $, but the person is going to pay in Link tokens. And so we need to know what is the exchange rate between the USD and comp at the exact time of the payment. We're using Chainlink for this. And when I said the challenge that the ecosystem is at its infancy, it's basically not every token has got a Chainlink price feed, unfortunately. And there are other challenges around the infrastructure or around the tech stack that the different users have. So for example, the wallet. So you use wallets to make payments, but as a business, what kind of wallet do you use? As a business, one of the wallets that makes sense is a custodian wallet, for example, a Coinbase custody wallet or Encourage. But they don't allow to interact with other DeFi products. So another one that is really great is decentralized. It's a Gnosis Safe. So it's a multi-signature wallet. In this case, so with Gnosis Safe, it's easy for us to improve the experience. So basically, if as a payer of an invoice, you've got a Gnosis Safe, because request invoicing is a default Gnosis Safe app, then you can feel like there is some DeFi magic over there, because you can pay like 150 invoices in one click. It's going to take 10 seconds. And all this from a multi-signature wallet. So basically 10 seconds twice, because someone will have to validate the payment. But the challenge here, again, is that not everyone has got a Gnosis Safe, not everyone has got the same kind of wallet and the same kind of setup. So the whole industry around businesses using crypto is still getting more and more mature, and only time is going to solve this challenge.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Maybe we can jump to Amanda, because you just spoke to launching a new infrastructure over there. Can you speak a little bit about your architecture, how you're incorporating Chainlink?
Okay, so with Kashi, which is the first product of ours that was built on BentoBox, without Chainlink, it really wouldn't be able to have went forward, because we're using Chainlink for the oracles on that exclusively for that product at this time. And that product is just so exciting because it really is like utilizing the dual token usage that I briefly touched upon, where you're depositing your assets into BentoBox. You can use the sushi strategy is automatically applied. That's one of several strategies, but that's like the easiest example that I use. And if you lend out those sushi tokens, you're also not only earning money or yield, on flash loans, you're also automatically staked in the sushi bar and earning your 0.05% of the platform transaction fees. So it's rewards upon rewards. That's the magic of BentoBox. And I think, definitely using Chainlink heavily in that product. And then when you were talking a bit about the challenges that we've been facing, I think, in a perfect world, we would have like perfect intuition with all these new products that everyone's building here. But, 9.5 times out of 10, it's really hard to get it right. And I think not too long ago, sushi, I don't think many people know this, but any one of the community members, they can just go ahead and create their own interface. We had like over 9 different interfaces that people were using. And we had to kind of take like bits and pieces of each and consolidate that into one, which is our sushi.com main domain now. And I think that's, I guess, where, sushi really shines. So we have all this like amazing constant feedback that we're getting from the community, and we can just constantly improve based on the fact that we're getting all this constant feedback. But that's been one of the huge challenges, is that both all this technology that we have, there is still like the learning curve that's there. We want it to be that, perfectly intuitive platform where everyone gets it right away. But these are, daunting technologies, and it takes time. So that's basically the challenges we've been having, but we're overcoming it from 9 to 1. We're doing something right.
That's great. Thanks, Amanda. And Jack, maybe we'll jump to you. What you spoke a bit about developing some totally new systems over there. Can you talk a little bit more about that and your incorporation of Chainlink as well?
Yeah, definitely. So we have 3 main products that all use Chainlink pretty heavily. So I'll start with the yield aggregator. One of the pools that we have is called the yield pool, which not only does it optimize across different lending protocols for one asset, but it also optimizes across different stablecoins. So say you have this pool of all the different stablecoins, it is constantly exchanging between them and then going and finding the best rate across different DeFi protocols. But now it's doing that within the Fuse pools that I talked about earlier. And Chainlink is meant to help provide the pricing information, whether that's for the rebalancer or just people trying to withdraw from that pool. They always need to know what the price of those stable coins are, even though we know they're usually pegged to 1. Chainlink helps us with that. The second product we have is Fuse. And as I said, each Fuse pool is a fork of Compound Finance. But when you go on the website and you create your own Fuse pool, you can choose what oracles you use. And Chainlink is the recommended oracle provider there. And almost every single asset on Fuse right now is supported by Chainlink. And whenever we have a new pool creator come aboard, we always recommend Chainlink because we know that the price feeds will always be as secure as possible. And as Chainlink starts supporting more assets, that means that Fuse will be able to start supporting more assets. And then finally, we're soon going to be releasing Nova, which is a layer 2 to layer 1 bridge that basically allows smart contracts to read and write with layer 1 through a bounty and relayer system. And then the layer 2 contract can provide a bounty to cover the cost of a layer 1 execution and relayers on layer 1 call to contracts. But the reason why Chainlink will be integrated with this is because the yield aggregator will most likely provide liquidity to these different bots executing on the Nova network. And the Chainlink oracles would be used to check accuracy of the pricing and tell the yield aggregator if the Nova order is valid or not before bridging those assets.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Maybe we'll, in the interest of time here, jump straight to Ran. You mentioned, hundreds of millions of dollars in liquidity being traded over there. Can you talk a little bit about what's under the hood, what's making that run, and how that incorporates Chainlink as well?
Sure. For the centralized product, there's a lot of trading that goes on. And one of the areas we're exploring now is for the derivatives, for futures which are coming, and we have spot margin to utilize on-chain index sources, right, such as Chainlink, Chainlink being the dominant one, to be able to quote in terms of liquidations, right? Instead of using purely centralized reference prices, to use decentralized on-chain Oracle like Chainlink. So I think that's to make the whole system even more robust. So then for our centralized product. And in the decentralized product, we're exploring, because we do a lot of active quoting on chain, converting the WooTrade order books into something that's a moving price that moves at very high frequency on chain, and also a bonding curve that resembles the bid ask on the order book. We need a very robust Oracle wrapper around this for it to be used not only by us in DeFi, but also by others like derivatives protocols who has a need for fast pricing with low price bands, low price ranges for the Oracle. And we have data, and Chainlink has security and decentralization. So it's a very good combination that we believe will work. So these are kind of the two things that we see. Obviously Chainlink it's been great as an Oracle for our token and such, but these are other ways that we're thinking about working together.
Sounds good. Yoon, you want to jump in here too, a little bit about your architecture?
Yeah, I think we're running out of time, so let me just recap. So we are one of the few projects that offer partial ownership of physical properties, and for this we need access to off-chain data needed for critical on-chain functions, such as property valuations, exchange rates, to distribute rewards. Since this information is not generated on the blockchain, we need a blockchain oracle to bridge this data on-chain. Previously, we solely depended on datasets provided by us and us only. As such, we were looking for a network of independent data providers that could supply and validate information essential to exploring real estate opportunities and making investment decisions. In this regard, we use Chainlink oracles to bridge this data on-chain. And so far, this has given our users an accurate valuation of their portfolio and helped us transparently calculate and pay out rewards based on fair market prices of the property.
Great, thank you so much, Yoon. And thank you all for joining. We are running short on time here, so we just got a flavor of what each of you have to offer. We're looking forward to speaking with all of you more in the future and sharing more about what you're building together here with Chainlink. So really honored to have you here, and thank you again for joining. We'll see you around soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.